Wherever we are right now is exactly where we're meant to be anyway, regardless whether you're having fun or not.
Yeah.
But right now I'm in that moment of purpose and meaningfulness, and it's just bliss. If you imagine, like, when you're depressed and you've got time on your hands, time takes forever. So you have a breakup, you sit in your room and you're just pondering, thinking about that person, thinking about that problem. Time takes forever. And so one thing it did for me was it helped speed time up in a good way. I've now got a community, a strong community of amazing people that are behind me of what I do, and opportunities come from that, from community. Yes, I'm with partners and positivity. So I'm with partners and positivity today. Very excited to
be here. Oh, brilliant. Welcome to P&P, the Partners in Positivity podcast, where
Aisling Burnett
and myself, Sarah Harty, warriors of EBP, SBP, DHBs, that's emotionally bulletproof, spiritually bulletproof, divine human beings, aim to wake up and shake up the nation through positivity, humor, and shared wisdom. Today on the Irish and international stage of our P&P podcast, we have another unique and supreme divine human being. This gorgeous gentleman we met recently on Instagram. His page is called Cullis Art, and he has traveled the world painting. Now he is an ambassador for mental health. Right now, at this moment in his life, he is part of a project called YouthArt Connect, which are doing their first exhibition this weekend with a theme of what does mental health mean for me? We couldn't have a better person on the podcast to discuss his perspectives on mental health and what art and painting does for you in terms of improving it.
That's it. You got it. You nailed that. There was a lot to fit in, wasn't there, in that intro?
Partners in Positivity, please help us welcome Graham Cullis.
Hi. Oh, here we go. Hi. This is Graham Cullis on the Partners in Positivity podcast with Sarah and Aisling. I'm very pleased to be here. Let's get positive.
Oh, thanks. I know our audience are going to love the little kiss.
Everyone loves the little kiss.
Clearly, Graham, you're artistic in nature and in all the things that you do in your life. How are you in this moment in time?
I am on cloud 9 at this moment in time. I'm absolutely loving life right now. Like it's going exactly how I want it to. I'm wherever I am right now is, or wherever we are right now is exactly where we're meant to be anyway, regardless whether you're having fun or not.
Yeah.
But right now I'm in that moment of purpose and meaningfulness, and it's just bliss. So I'm enjoying everything I'm doing and everything that's coming along my way, and it's just really exciting as well. So, and I just want to make sure that everyone else has a piece of that as well. So I'm emanating it out for everyone if you want it.
That's it. That's something that I think a lot of people aim for in their life, to feel that moment of bliss where everything is going great and they're enjoying each moment of the day and the work that they're doing in the world and things like that. So congratulations on reaching this. It really is a peak. And I'm glad to hear of a fellow human being in a state of bliss, because I know with the pandemic and different things that are happening in the world, a lot of people might be living with underlying stress and stuff like that. So well done on carrying that torch and being where you are right now. It's beautiful to see, and you can tell by your vlogging and your artwork and the projects that you're involved in that you're emanating that through all of that too. So congratulations.
Thank you very much.
Well done. Done.
Thank you.
So when we go back to traveling and art, I seen on your page that you were across the world in places like Bali, in jungles, skinny dipping left, right, and center. And you started projects in art, I think, for your own mental health. How did that come about?
Okay, so it's a very long story, and I know we've got all day, haven't we? But I'll try not to like go like make it too long. But so basically, I moved to Bali in 2020. That lovely year. I literally landed on New Year's Day. No, I landed on my birthday, I flew on New Year's Eve and landed on my birthday, which was the 2nd of January. So I had a great opening as well. I literally landed and there was a party waiting for me. That was my 38th birthday. Okay. And the reason I moved to Bali was because I've been traveling on and off like for years, doing seasonal work and sort of working for the summer and then going away and spending my spoils and traveling and having all the experiences. But every time I went to Bali, I was like, I want to live here. I'm jealous of all. I don't like that word jealous, but I was envious of all of the people that were making a life for themselves there, and there was lots of creative and entrepreneurial kind of people, and I really just wanted to stay and be part of that. And working remote is the dream that everyone wants, which is a lot more attainable now. That's what's come out of the pandemic. But anyway, I went before that. I managed to get myself a job in a sales team, and so there's obviously a long story before that which got me to there, but I made it my mission that I would find a job that I could do remotely. So I got a job with a company where I could be in sales and then move to Bali. So on paper it looked amazing, like I had to work UK times. That was the only deal breaker, so it's different time zones, but on paper it's amazing. Wake up at 6, go for a surf, come out of the water, have a coconut with that person I may have met in the water, and then I would go and then have a coffee with my friends, maybe a bit of brunch, and then I'd have a siesta and wait until about 2 or 3 or 4 o'clock, and then I'd wake up and work from 5 till midnight, and then weekends off in Bali. Amazing, like on paper it sounds amazing, and it was, but working for a sales job unautonomously became very detached after a while. I would be like, I would find that that I wasn't really making strong connections. I was having a great time, don't get me wrong, but it just started to creep into me that I was working this nocturnal life. And then I wasn't really making connections. I'd only get to see people on the weekend, but I wouldn't be able to, you'd have to do that normal thing where you go and hang out with people in the evening and just, I always had to go to work when that happened. So I was working backwards to everyone. So it made me feel a little bit detached. Then the lovely old Corona came along and that made a lot of people's jobs in the world very stressful, and working remotely with a team back and was kind of breaking up as well. The team was not handling it well. I felt detached from them. The sales, all my clients were disappearing. It was very stressful. There was a lot of pressure on me, and then a few other personal issues that sort of crept in. Also sort of didn't help, and eventually it led me to a bit of a breakdown. Okay, I had some serious mental health problems after that, but just before it really got to that problem, I actually found art. So I went on a date with a Russian lady, a Russian art teacher called Tatiana, and she was like, "You have to come to my art class." That's a rubbish accent. I'm sorry, but I was like, do you know what? I can't really say no to her because one, she's Russian, she might kick my ass, and the other thing is, I'm on a date with her. If I say no, it's not going to look good at all, is it? So I was like, of course, yeah, I'll come to your art class, and because I never really thought about doing that, and I'm one of these people that's kind of open and game for anything, and I never really thought about doing it. So I went along to the villa where she held a class and got to my easel. We all had to do pictures of a picture just to learn techniques, and it was me and about 12 Russian girls in the class. It was delightful. and then but I chose to paint a waterfall, and people were sort of like double taking at my waterfall, like walking past me saying, "Graham, have you done this before?" And I'm like, "No." They're like, "Well, you're pretty good for the first time, and it's only like a 4 hours to do this painting." And I was like, "Oh, okay, cool," like that. And And then I did another class and I did the eye. If you can go back on my Instagram, you can see the eye. And that was the moment when
Mm.
I was like, what? Because like the first painting was fairly led by Tatiana, and this next time I just went for it, and I was like, wow, I actually blew myself away. I was like, wow, I can't believe this. And then after that, of course, I was friend zoned and now her student, but that was fine, you know. And then I bought the
Happens to the
paints.
best of us.
Yeah, right. Well, I bought all the paints and bought all the gear, and then just started painting every day. And then obviously, as just before like my breakdown, like I you know got all of the gear. You know, I took a sabbatical when it was enough was enough. My work said you've done very well. Like you've helped us get through the main part of what was going on, and just take some time for yourself. I knew I had to come home as well, so I booked myself a flight home. Getting home was hard as well because like obviously flights were very uncertain. Everything was uncertain, wasn't it? But I just took
Mm.
that time. I had about a month to wait. I took that time and painted every day. And then I
Mm.
realized how much that saved me. It pulled me out of a hole. And as well, like I had all this time, I was posting on Instagram my new paintings, and people were like, Graham, can you paint me a picture? And I was like, whoa, hang on a minute. You know, imposter syndrome. I've only just started. I tell you what, like you you give me some money for materials, maybe donate some money to a mental health charity or whatever, and I'll paint you a picture. I'll choose it though, so it's no pressure for me to do a commission. I'll just choose it for you. And then that actually birthed my surprise commission concept. So all of my paintings, like
Mm.
the commissioner has no idea what they're getting. I choose, and I use my intuition when I look through their social media,
So
and maybe have a
nice.
conversation with them, and then I pick something that they will love, and then they get to see it unfold on my Instagram stories. Okay, so they get this whole immersive experience of what's it going to be,
Yeah.
what's it going to be, and then I will pick, and I nail it pretty much every time. I don't think I have got it wrong yet,
Mm.
but they're like, Graham, I cannot believe you. There's so many like what's the word, like synchronicities that happen with my painting when I choose these and use my intuition, and it's like it blows people away, and like it blows me away. I'm like, I can't believe I chose that, and it meant that for that person. And it's yeah, it's really exciting. So that's sort of one thing that sort of came out of it. So I started doing that, and then
Graham, can I
I was
ask? The story is absolutely beautiful. There's so much to take in. Can I stop you and ask you
yeah.
when you said at that time when you had the breakdown after the ending of that job or towards the ending of the job, you said the painting kind of pulled you out of a hole. What about the painting did that for you?
Yeah. Okay, right. So if you imagine like when you're depressed and you've got time on your hands, time takes forever. So you have a breakup, you sit in your room and you're just pondering, thinking about that person, thinking about that problem. Time takes forever. And so one thing it did for me was it helped speed time up in a good way. You know, I would like literally get to my easel in the morning. I even stopped surfing. That's so weird for me. Like I didn't even get up and surf. I just got up and painted. I got up
Yeah.
and then I would be in front of that easel for like 4 hours, and I didn't realize that it felt like half an hour. And then during that time, I'd be listening to music and reconnecting my brain with music again. That's something that I'd lost as well. I think we do that as we grow up. You know, when you're younger, you sort of into your music, and then you lose it. And I reconnected with my music because it all became all part of it as one thing, you know. And then I just was really into my painting. It gives you time to think, and it gives you time to what's the word, like introspect, you know, and think about stuff
Yeah.
and make choices. And I made some amazing choices while I was painting, and I didn't even realize it as well, you know. And yeah, and
Yeah.
then when the people that did commission me for like pocket money, whatever, you know, gave me the money, they were like, I looked at my account and they transferred. It was a lot more than I expected, and I was like, "Oh, there's something in this," because they valued it.
Yeah.
I didn't ask them to pay me that much. They just did, and that's another
Mm.
way. That's another way that I've been doing my commissions. I've been letting people choose what they want to pay, and people seem to always want to pay more than you expect, which is really nice. But yeah, so that was for me. You know, it helped me focus. It gave me a mindful time. It gave me
Yeah.
time for myself, and you know, like, and helped me get through that time quickly and
Yeah.
pleasurably. You know, like I would forget about my worries when I'm like concentrating on trying to get this picture right. It's really nice.
Thanks for explaining that in detail. I think our viewers, our listeners will gain from that, because I always question or wonder, what is it about the hobby or the activity that you have that makes you feel better? And even you were saying about making decisions while you're painting, like, we have thousands of thoughts when we're in the shower and we could be making decisions, but that's really a nice space where you're on a blank canvas and you're drawing and you're using colorful paintings and you have that time for yourself. Like that, it's kind of isolated in a way if you're not in a group setting for the art class, but if you're on your own, you really have a beautiful moment in time for yourself to let whatever surface,
100%.
Gorgeous.
But you know what though, even if I was in a group setting painting, I think I'd still be getting that therapy as well. Like all my surroundings I'm distracted from, when I'm at that easel and I'm concentrating and trying to get it right, but yeah, like I do find it's really nice for me to be by myself now when I'm painting. Like I find that's where I'm most productive. But yeah, and then I was starting to vlog about it, and people would see it. My Instagram started blowing up. It was starting getting loads of followers because people were like, "Oh, this guy's doing quite nice art. This is something to actually follow. It's a narrative, And then I started editing, because I've always liked editing videos, and I've always toyed with the idea of maybe having a vlogging channel on YouTube or something, or some space. So I started vlogging about my personal experiences. I did a painting called Angels, which I actually made for my friends who were there for me in Bali without even realizing it. And it's a picture of a forest fire with two orbs that are floating there, one, and that represents them two, Michelle and Sean. And then there's light breaking in the distance and it's like that they're guiding me towards that light. They used to help me. Like they heard that I was stressed. They could tell I was stressed because I was living with them, and they would always ask me out and take me on little adventures, take me jungle walks, and they were like constantly there for me, and I just owed them everything. And then I did a video about my mental health. And then I did the follow-up video when I gave it to them. And I was like, I get teary thinking about it now. But so that was therapy for me. And now I kind of do it with my art for other people. Like when people come to me for a commission, there's a story behind it. Like this one here. I don't know if you're going to be putting this out on video, but for the listeners that are listening to it, this one I've called Serendipity, and there's two lovers embracing. And it's actually at Glastonbury Festival, and this is Kerry and Ben, and this was a moment where they just lost a friend. They work in sound and lighting at Glastonbury, and it was the last one before the pandemic, and their friend that worked with them died. And it was a very, very heavy moment for them. And this is what happened. They were both lost from each other. And right at this moment, they found each other and embraced. And right at that moment, their friend was behind them and took the photo. So I called it Serendipity. And it just shows so much emotion and what was going through their minds. She was bawling her eyes out when she was looking at that installation. So if you just to describe to your listeners, there's a crowd of people. There's a light installation, which is a big orb, actually, which is something that always comes to me with my paintings, and a scaffolding of loads of lighting, and then they're at the front ground, and they've just met each other and they're embracing. And that's something that really means something to them. And actually, I painted that on gold leaf as well, which is something I've never tried before, which was epic. I love it. But so that's why I feel like now I have purpose and meaning, because I can use my art not only for myself but to help others through my commission process. And also now I've taken on the role as mental health ambassador, and I want to use this platform to set up projects wherever I lay my cap.
So Graham, I heard you saying there that you're showing the young people some tools for their mental health. I just want to ask, what if you're having a day like me today, where you just don't really feel great? What would you recommend?
Oh, so if you're not feeling great, what would I recommend? Well, I suppose sometimes you just have to sit with your feelings, don't you? So you just need to sort of sit there and be mindful of how you're feeling, sit with it, and then just know that, and just be mindful and know that it will pass. And you know, if you can, just like sort of like you sort of kick your bum into doing something. Like some people, when they get up out, I've heard a lot of people say, you know, especially like a lot of like positivity coaches, like when you wake up and you just don't want to get out of bed, you just don't want to do it, you just get up and do it. And actually,
Yeah.
I feel for myself personally, and you get the most gains out of life when you actually do stuff when you don't want to. You know, it's like going to the gym. You don't want to go, but you'll go anyway. And then I saw a quote actually at my gym from GSP, he's George St. Pierre. He's an MMA fighter, really famous one. And he said, "Yeah, you make the best improvements when you go and do something when you don't want to, when you don't want to do something, you do it anyway."
Nice.
So I think like, you know, like it's just, you know, just getting that one step forward and just going just to get some, yeah, basically to improve your mood, you know, whatever you've got to do. Like for me, it's like at the moment I'm getting up and forcing myself to run in the sea in my pants, and it's seeming to set my day up nicely. So that's really good.
Yeah. So you're near the beach. That's super.
Yeah, well, I try and lay my cap wherever possible to be near the beach. I don't like to be inland. You guys have been following the Pevensey Plungers, which is a sea dipping group, which I've just started. That happened by accident, but to go back a bit, because some of you might need to tell your listeners about this, but I've also set up YouthArt Connect, which was my first mission when I came back from Bali. I quit my job. Okay, I quit it. It's gone now.
Well done.
Yeah, and that was because I'm now supported by the people that follow me, and I know, like, I wanted to, you know, we said, what do you want to talk about? And I do want to talk about this because obviously one thing is I need to push this so it can help me grow, but it's actually a really beautiful concept which helps me help others as well.
Ooh,
So
I was hoping. Is this the ROAK?
This is the Karma Card project. Okay, so basically, I'm guessing obviously you're in the podcast world. A lot of people listening to this will be in the podcast world and know about Patreon, which is a platform where people can support people monthly. To help them do what they do. You know, you could do one yourself. Say to your listeners, look, do you like what we do? Please, could you support us with like a cup of coffee once a month, because it's a lot of work to put this together. So that's like my sales angle as well. But I want to give back something to my supporters. So I have people that support me monthly, and then I give them 6 gift cards of my art prints every 6 months, which are blank inside. And the idea is that you get to write a little letter of love and positivity to someone, one of your friends that might be struggling, or someone that you just want to reconnect with. So it's like a win-win positivity cycle, feedback loop. Like that pays for me to have a full-time job, and for me to be eventually grow it into a wellness business, which I can invest into further projects and be a philanthropist with it. And then at the same time, I'm sending about 1,000 of these to 24 countries. Okay, and if you think 1,000 cards going out into the world, they're mindfully being written as powerful, positive messages, sending out. You know, it's just growing, and it's the best
The ripple
thing for
effect.
me. Well, the best thing, exactly, it's ripples, and ripples make waves. That's what I say to the community that I've built on this. And the best thing for me is, obviously the monetary side is amazing. I'm now free to do what I do and flourish and be this creative mental health ambassador that I've always been born to be, you know. But the best thing for me is when I get messages back from people that receive these, because obviously I'm not stupid. I put my marketing on the back of the cards so they can find me, and also if they want to sign up themselves. But I get messages on my Instagram saying, Graham, I received this letter through the post from my friend who sent me this. Sorry. Oh my God. It makes me cry a little bit. Yeah, but basically, like, I needed that. They said they needed that more than anything at that point, and it. Sorry, and I often do this. Yeah.
Take a moment.
Yeah, but you know, like, do you know what I mean? Like that actually made such a difference to their life, and it just fills me with joy that what I'm doing has actually like impacted someone at that moment. And put them on a different course in their life. You know, like it's a powerful thing to do, and that's my favorite thing about the Karma Card project for me is that's what's happening. And then obviously, like, it all goes back for me to be able to do more, like set up this YouthArt Connect group, which is, and I suppose I need to tell the listeners now, is that now I use this free time that this gives me, and some of the monetary side of it, to set up things where I lay my caps. So I quit my job, and then I moved to Newquay, and the first thing I did was set up a youth club here in Newquay called YouthArt Connect, which is now running monthly, which the tagline is introducing the therapeutic benefits of art to young people. So we're getting all spectrums of people come to these groups, 11 to 17s and 18s to 30s. I thought, oh, this is going to be an interesting dynamic, having like one kid with Tourette's, one kid with cerebral palsy, one kid that's very on this autistic spectrum, and then some kids that are not. And it's a youth club environment. I thought, what's this going to pan out like? And it was beautiful. We've seen friendships blossom. We've seen people being educated in mental health spectrums, and then accepting, and people discovering art, you know, and discovering something for themselves. So that was the first thing that I've done in Newquay, and I want to do this around the world now. So, sorry, I want to do, yeah, exactly. And like I said, like, just things keep happening now. Like, it's just, I'm on this like roller coaster of positivity. It just keeps happening. Yeah, so like I've gone back home to Sussex because I know I'm going back to Bali soon to go and take this over there. And then in the meantime, I went sea dipping and made a little video and invited people on my social platforms in the area. Do you want to come with me? This is what I do for my mental health. I've now created almost a cult. It's like I'm Jesus leading him into the ocean, or Moses. You know, like I've got a big beard and hair, but I've got like, we started a Facebook group called the Pevensey Plungers, me and my friend Hope, because people were inboxing me so much asking to come along. So we now have a regular sea dip 9 o'clock every day, and averagely about 30 people every day come along to the sea dip. We had like 55 on the weekend, and we have a bonfire, and it's so nice to see all these people meeting and saying, this has changed my life, Graham. Like, I have fibromyalgia, and the symptoms are disappearing, and I don't get out of the house, and I've met people in my local village that I didn't know before, and it's so nice. It's not a cult, by the way, everybody. It's just an amazing community of people. There we go. I'm a talker, aren't I?
Yeah, so you never know how much people are going to need it, like, until you get the feedback. That's gorgeous.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, so basically that's that is Graham Cullis art in a nutshell. And
in any way, the first 4 letters in culture is cult.
Yeah,
so we're creating cultures around ourselves by inviting people to different groups and setting up projects and stuff like that. So maybe is a small bit of a cult, but that's okay too. Like, there's such a negative connotation around cults, but it is cultures that we are creating, you know.
Exactly. There's so many words that have been turned negative, you know, like the word selfish, which is an absolute beautiful word. Like, people see selfish as a negative word, where actually to be selfish is one of the best things you can do for yourself, you know. And that's interesting. I love that, you know, like, culture. Culture. I love that.
Graham, you've explained a lot, and thank you for sharing all that you're up to in this world at this moment in time. I keep saying moment in time.
Yeah, what it is.
Repeating is what it is. And not to slow you down, but I just want people to capture what you are up to right now. And that is, your own card project is called Karma Card Project.
Yeah.
Where you are sustaining yourself through Patreon and giving out 6 cards, and it's to create a ripple effect for random act of kindness that ripples out into the world. And then also you have the YouthArt Connect project, which is young people that are coming into you, and at the moment the theme is what mental health means to me. That's so lovely. Tell us about 1 or 2 pieces of artwork or meanings that the children have created.
Okay, so there's two girls that have had a beautiful story through this. Actually, they've met each other, and they've come together and they've become like best friends, and we've seen it blossom on Instagram. They're like always tagging each other, and it's so nice to see. So that is that's Serena and Sasha. Big shout out to those girls if you're listening. And they have created some beautiful pieces. I'll send you a picture that you can then add to the show notes as well. Basically, well, Serena has done a picture of a heart on a black background, and it's quite a dark heart, and there's stitch marks in it. And so she said that this is my heart healing, and it's obviously it's heart with an art, and I've met friends here. It's all about me meeting. I've met some of my best friends here at this youth club, and this is my heart healing, and that's why it's got stitch marks on it. And then Sasha, she's done this like tiny little brain right in the middle of this painting, and then this amazing like array of rainbow colors and crazy swirls and swishes just coming straight out of it. And she says that's how my brain is with my ADHD, and she just wanted to represent that. And yeah, it's really cool. And it's like lots of people that are doing some like amazing. I would love to be able to to tell more and more stories about them, but it's just like, yeah, it's so cool to see the young people expressing themselves like this. Yeah, and yeah, my work here is done. And we want loads of media attention on this as well. So I know this is going out afterwards, but I've invited like BBC Spotlight down. I went on Radio Cornwall last night, BBC Radio Cornwall. I'm going on BBC Radio Newquay tonight. We've got the Voice paper going on, doing a piece about it today. So I'm really trying to ram this down as many people's throats as possible. We want all the councillors to come along. We've invited everyone. So just in case, if the listeners don't know what it is, it's an exhibition that I've set for the kids. So they're painting pictures with the theme "What Mental Health Means to Me," and we're holding an exhibition at the North Coast Asylum Gallery in Newquay, which are an amazing gallery. They invited us to do it for free as well. They're not charging us, and yeah, just so many people were like pitching in as well. We've got this amazing green 3D plastic printing company, which use all recyclable plastics that have been taken from the ocean to make frames for us. And they're doing that for free. And we're also doing an after party for the young people at a bar afterwards called the Dead Famous, where we've got a band called Haunt the Woods, which are a BBC introducing act. Incredible band. I like to describe them as like they're like Muse but in sepia. They're like, he's got like a Jeff Buckley voice, has real like strong ballads, amazing guitar solos, and just epic rock. And they're doing an all ages show for the young artists, and then we'll have the over 18s from 10 o'clock, and we'll have a few hot toddies, I imagine.
Yeah, nice.
Yeah.
Tell me, with the project, how long has it been going on for? Like, how many weeks or months have these young people showed up to do their artwork with you?
So I started it back in March, when I first moved to Newquay. So I was like, I actually spoke to someone because I was starting to do vlogs and talk about the mental health space before that, when I was back home in Sussex after I moved back from Bali. And then I had someone get in touch with me from Newquay, this lady called Kate Evans, who's an epic lady who has a therapy studio there. And she was like, well, maybe we should do something with my space when you get back. And I'm like, amazing. So we got back and I did a vlog, I interviewed her, and then we came up with this idea that we would do something for the young people of Newquay to do with art, like an art therapy kind of session. So we ran a pilot event, and then Marie Ralph, or first Siobhan Taylor. We got three directors. So Kate's not part of the directorship anymore, or she wasn't. she was there for the pilot, and I think that was her purpose in this. Like, she was there to ignite it all, and I can't thank her enough at all for doing that. But what it's done was, like, the first session we had Marie Ralph turn up. Or first, Siobhan came on as a volunteer. She worked in the session, and she's like taking it by the horns. She wants to do her art therapy course and counselling, and she's going through that now to really take this seriously. But then Marie Ralph, who me and Siobhan will both agree is the head honcho. She's the force of YouthArt Connect. She came along with her son Malachi, who's an incredible artist as well, and he has Tourette's. And she brought him along. He came in with fat. It was brilliant. He came in and made a mark straight away. He had a tick, and he hit the the fire alarm. Set the fire alarm off, and like, he's like, "Here I am," like that. It was great. And then but then Marie, I said to me afterwards, like, "Graham, I've been wanting to set something up like this for years. I've had some health issues. I've been bankrupt. I've had some personal problems, and like, life kept throwing things at me, so I couldn't do it." And I'm like, Marie, look, I'm looking for people to collaborate with and get involved in this. Like, and I'm going to be moving on. And my whole plan in my world is that I set things up like this and then pass it on and give ownership to people who want to give it legacy. I said, it's yours. You can have it. This is yours. I've done all the infrastructure, all of the emails here, all like the email systems here, the spreadsheets are here. And then she's like, okay, deal, like that. And then, but from day one, she was like straight onto the council, getting funding, straight onto doing the safeguarding courses, organising all the volunteers, like doing all of the back behind the ground paperwork stuff. And she's now brought it into it's now a company. It's now it's called a CIC, which is a community interest company, and we have got her to thank for that. And it's now being looked at by schools from all over the county, and even other counties are looking at it as well. So it looks like YouthArt Connect is going to be franchisable, if not national, international. I don't know. If not international, I want it to go huge. And like, like I've even had people tell me in Sussex who've been following me saying, look, we want to set something up like this here. I'm like, well, like, let us find our feet. Once we've got a model, you can totally take one on and put it over there, So it's growing fast, and people. Yeah, we've got it's called Active Children, I think, is the charity, but a national charity have now got in touch with us and want to fund us around the whole of Cornwall, but they also do the whole country as well. So they want to do like schools and groups and youth clubs in all parts of Cornwall, and they're going to pay us to do it, which is epic.
That's unreal. Actually, the only recurring thought I've had since you started speaking about that project was like, can we just copy and paste him and put him in Ireland somewhere? With the work that you're doing. So then you said there could be an up and coming franchise. So I'm delighted to hear that you've reached those levels, or that's the vision that you have for it, because it deserves that. Do you know?
Exactly. And like, and I was going to leave, I was going to leave it with them. And then actually, when I made the decision that I was going to leave, I'm moving to Bali, I was like, look, you got this, girls, you got this. They're like, and then I started thinking, do you know what, actually, if I'm going to go to Bali and set some things up like that, why don't I just umbrella it and call it the same thing? And then I was like, even before I sat down with Marie when she had the forms to fill out the directorship and for me to sign things off, I was like, do you know what, Marie, I was thinking maybe I should probably stay on as director. And then she was like, yes. That's exactly, we're on the same page. I told her like I could do stuff over in Bali. She's, yes, I've already thought about this. You do not leave. Like, this is yours as well. And like, I'm like, okay, cool. So I'm staying now. So basically, so it's great, and I can now go to Bali and maybe do some projects there and call it YouthArt Connect, use the same branding, and it all can be intertwined, so
I'm glad to hear you're remaining in the position of director, because I have never come across someone, I think, with such enthusiasm and passion behind actually promoting it to press, the work that you're doing. And I think that is fantastic. The reason I'm saying that is because these children have showed up for 9 months, nearly 9 months now, coming into December, for a project about their own meaning in terms of mental health, and children that really need that space and to think in that way. So congratulations. There's so much in the news media that's negative, and for you to actually put that energy out there so that they get the coverage and get into the limelight that they deserve for the great work that they've been doing. Like they deserve the red carpet laid out for them for that, just for showing up, not to mind the projects. But congratulations, that is incredible now.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, no, it's super exciting, and I really can't wait to see their little faces. They're all getting their outfits ready. One's got a dinosaur dress and dinosaur earrings. Like, but it's not just kids as well. Remember, it's 11s to 30s, so we've got young adults as well that are also really excited about this as well. And you know what? Another thing that I noticed about this is it's not just the people that are turning up as the clientele, but the volunteers themselves are getting a lot out of this as well. You know, like you say, like key to happiness is purpose and meaning. It's giving people purpose and meaning, you know, and they're at the beginning of something awesome, so they're going to grow with us, and we want to be able to pay our volunteers eventually. We're able to pay our practitioners now, which is fantastic. So we had Matt Grit, I think you saw on the vlog, the tattoo artist. We were able to pay him to come in and do a workshop and inspire the children. And so, yeah, like it's really nice to see everyone get out and stuff out of it. And I've got a couple of professional artists as well to submit some pieces, and they said they'd never done anything like this before. I met up with Andy Pierce, who's from Saltwell's Gallery in Newquay, and he came to drop me off his painting at a coffee shop when I was doing some work, and he didn't want me to open it in front of him. He got all shy. He was like, "Look, I've never done anything like this. So I don't want to be here when you open it." And I opened it up, and I was like, "Wow, this is deep." You know, super deep what he's done. But yeah, so I think people are going to be really, really blown away when they see what's been created. Really excited.
That's amazing, Graham. I am actually blown away myself here.
Amazing.
If you have one piece of wisdom to share with us, what would it be?
This is where I go and get a cup of tea, isn't it? Which one piece?
You can if you want.
Do you know what? Like, something that's just been recurring for me lately, I guess, like it's my current piece of wisdom, is that community is key. Absolutely key. Like, I've realized that, like, without community it is harder. It's hard. Well, you can do things by yourself, of course. I mean, like, it's important to do things by yourself, but a community is absolutely amazing. And like just seeing like what's happening with the Pevensey Plungers, you know, like, and how they're all getting together and making stuff happen. And, you know, like, when you build yourself a community for your own personal growth, you've got allies, you've got people that are there to impart wisdom to you, for you to learn off, or you to learn on them. You know, it's like a big collaboration, you know. So I think if you are a creative, or you're listening to this and you want to start a movement or something that you're passionate about or a voice for, you need to get a community to be behind you that are also in the same position or on the same page, because, you know, it's stronger in numbers, for one thing. And I've known, especially with my Karma Card project, I've now got a strong community of amazing people that are behind me of what I do, you know, and opportunities come from community, because like, if you've got people talking about what you're doing with a lot of people, it's, you know, it's like, you know, is it the 9 steps to Brad Pitt, whatever it is, you know, we're like 9 steps away from like someone, you know, in the world. I think, is that right? I've got that right. Like, you know, like if you're in a hub of people and you're trying to grow a project, you know, there's the pool's bigger, you know, you're gonna grow faster if you have got a community. There we go. community.
Great. And I have one last question for you. And that is, since you're getting all the children to look into themselves and see what mental health means for them, what does mental health mean for Graham Cullis art?
What does mental health mean to me? Do you know what? Like, I have asked myself this a few times, and it's like it's not. I don't know if I can put it into words. Well, I just think like, and it's something that I've learned recently as well. And it is about having purpose and meaning for me, you know, like to be in that state of happiness. And that's actually something I've learned from one of your countrymen, actually, old Mr. Blind Boy podcast. If it wasn't actually, I want to give him a massive shout out, seeing as this is an Irish podcast. I want to give this amazing human being,
Yeah.
fairy, like mystical being from Limerick, the biggest shout out and thank you and applause for everything that I'm doing right now, because I've learned so much from him and he's helped guide me through my mental health thought processes. And I know he's learned from other people, you know, so he's got people to thank for that. But he's been doing such an amazing job. I wouldn't have started my Patreon if it wasn't for him. I subscribed to his Patreon. I was like, yeah, hell yeah, he's worth a tenner a month in my books. You know, if he's putting out 4 podcasts, which has given me such value. And but before, you know, I've been listening to him for a couple of years before I got into this whole painting lark. And then I was like, that's when the penny dropped. I was like, right, I can do the same as what Blind Boy does now. And I've been listening to a couple of his podcasts lately, and he was talking about, you know, like there's no real state. This happiness doesn't really exist. It's just when you have those moments in your life where you have purpose and meaning. So I think mental health for me is to make sure that I'm consistently walking through life with purpose and meaning.
And you have a tattoo with that philosophy, have you?
Oh yeah, that's right. Yeah, so that's it. So the meaning of life is to find your gift, and the purpose of life is to give it away. And that is so apt. That's actually Pablo Picasso. I didn't choose it because of it being Picasso. I saw it on someone's Instagram actually, and I was like, I love it. So I love that so much, and I was like, I immediately knew I needed to get that tattooed on me, because yeah, like the meaning of life is to find your gift, and the purpose of life is to give it away. And you know that is so apt for what I'm doing, because I just want to give it away. You know, I want people to have the joy that I have, and discover it in their own way.
Yeah.
How was that podcast? Was that an all right podcast?
That's a complete showstopper. I'm surprised here. I never actually heard that quote. It's gorgeous. I love when somebody feeds me a new quote that absolutely blows my mind. Love it.
Yeah, love it.
Yeah, and Graham, it's been a pleasure of mine to hear what you're up to in the world, to see it on your Instagram, and also thanks for that recognition for Blind Boy as an Irish person as well. He really has made a tremendous impact in my life as well, because I have a similar story to you in a way that I was working for a tech company, like a customer service sales type role, and I had burnout for the first time in my life. And my gorgeous brother Duran, who actually is editing this podcast for us, he's brilliant. He had heard of Blind Boy and knew he had a series about CBT, cognitive behavioral therapy.
I give that to people as well, those series. There's 4 podcasts.
Yes, that one. So they were the first ever 4 podcasts that I listened to in Blind Boy. Maybe the first time I ever listened to a podcast on mental health as well. And it really turned me around, because I applied immediately the technique that he was talking about in my day-to-day life. And also the reason I listened to Blind Boy was because he was both entertaining and educational at the same time. And I think there's huge value in that, and you're often offering something similar in what you're doing. So thanks so much for highlighting that. It's been a dream to see someone living their purpose, living from a place of meaning as well. And yeah, that oozes out of you. And I can't wait to continue to follow the work that you're doing and see how the YouthArt Connect unfolds and grows and everything. Yeah. Thanks so much.
Thank you very much. Amazing. Oh, that That's a very nice end of the podcast. That I like that. Thank you.
I echo everything that Sarah said, and I just want to thank you for your enthusiasm. Like when I first started following you, and you were like, "I want to be on the podcast."
Yeah.
And then
It took me a couple of attempts, didn't it?
Yeah, it took a while, and I just think that's something we can all learn from, because I do know there's ideas and things we want to share in the world. So you're teaching people now, like with how much you're promoting your own stuff, of how we all can be, really. So thanks, Emil.
No worries.
Congratulations, well done. Pat yourself on the back. You're officially now a partner in positivity with us. If this is your first episode, we're so grateful. If this is your 40th episode, we're equally as grateful for your ears, for your heart, for taking this time out for yourself and committing to your own positive mental health journey. Our intention for this podcast is for you to feel a little bit better afterwards. So we hope you take some time now to check in with yourself. How did you feel before? How do you feel now? And we've definitely done our job if you feel a little bit better, and especially if you want to come back for more next week. If you do want to support us, we actually have a Ko-fi donation page. It's ko-fi.com/partners in positivity. We really value the work that we're doing. We know there's so much positive and negative in the world, and we want to contribute to people feeling their best. So we appreciate all of the donations we've had so far and welcome any more that are on the way. Thank you in advance. Also, if you got something of value from this and you want to share with friends or family to add to this trend of positivity in the world, we would love to be tagged in any posts on social media. You know where to find us. Other than that, guys, have an incredible week ahead, and we look forward to feeding you some more nourishment for that beautiful mind, that beautiful garden of yours next week.